The magnitude 7.6 earthquake Jamaica never felt. On February 8, 2025, it was reported that a magnitude 7.6 earthquake struck south-southwest of Grand Cayman Islands. On this map, provided by the United States Geological Survey, what you should be able to see is the epicenter of the earthquake, as well as the distance of the relative intensity related to this earthquake. What I'd like to mention at this time is that there were media reports issued in Jamaica of a tsunami advisory for Caribbean islands, including Jamaica. In this Jamaica Observer article dated on February 8, 2025, within a 3-hour window post the earthquake occurrence, as is shared, hazardous tsunami waves are or were expected within a range or a radius of 600 plus miles from the epicenter. It's important to note that Jamaica was among the islands noted within this radius or within this tsunami hazardous zone. It's important to mention that this detail relating to the earthquake and tsunami hazard were jointly provided by the United States Geological Survey as well as the Pacific Tsunami Warning Center. Now, what I find interesting is my reality of not having heard from any of the authorities related to the national emergency or disaster response. None of them came out to give any form of update to Jamaica on a whole as it pertains to a tsunami advisory, in the context of them confirming that what it is that the popular media houses would have put out to the public is actually accurate and should actually be taken in a matter of seriousness. Nothing was shared by any of these agencies until hours going into early hours of the following day. That for me is very interesting, because in the context of a tsunami advisory being given, whether or not you have your internal processes and procedures that you follow within the context of the execution of the plan as it pertains to the communication and even so the capacity to put in effect whatever plan is in place. For me, what is kind of worrisome is the fact that, again, there was just this huge delay of silence, just total silence. So the question has to be asked, is this a part of the process? Is this a part of Jamaica's, national disaster response plan as it pertains to a magnitude 7 plus earthquake and the potential of a tsunami, whether it be through an advisory or an actual warning? Because in looking at what it is that is actually shared through, the media outlets, ODPEM indicating that basically the process or the authorities responsible for the dissemination of a tsunami warning in Jamaica rests with ODPEM, Met Service, and the Jamaica Constabulary Force. And then in the context of their approach towards putting in effect whatever plans they may have, it will go through, let's just say, the National Committee. And then from there, they will have a parish level plan put in place. I will then go further then to, I believe, view it as from the parish level, they will then go to the constituency level. And then from the constituency level, they more than likely will then consider it on a community level in terms of being able to, have the relative shelter managers or, parish level managers related to disaster response, etc., being able to put in whatever effect a degree of a response plan. But here's the point. This is an earthquake related hazard we're talking about, not hurricane. So in that regard, it's not like Jamaica will have days, to basically put in effect certain plans as it pertains to being able to prepare itself for a hurricane of significant magnitude or category. In the context of an earthquake and or tsunami, we're talking about minutes to hours at best. So when you're going to think about a tsunami warning, if we are given this warning by the Pacific Tsunami Warning Center, which will then have to travel through the National Tsunami or Disaster Management Committee to then push it through the parish level and the Jamaica Constabulary Force. Notwithstanding that, more than likely at the event of a magnitude earthquake of 7 plus and a tsunami warning, more than likely the country, in terms of its resources, can be taken up at any point in time. To think that we will be able to adequately prepare the population, especially those living at the coastlines or at levels related to, sea level, that is pretty much within range of being inundated in the event that we have tsunami waves of, plus 10 meters and above. You know what I mean? When you're going to consider the kind of work that has to go into place to communicate and then know to make sure that you can have the necessary logistics put in place so that traffic can flow away from the many coastlines up to higher ground, all that kind of thing. You think so we really and truly can do all of that in mere, I guess, hours after the fact? If we are not basically putting into practice the kind of, systematic and timely communication and, putting the population in a state of readiness, whereby we're talking about on a parish level, there is a degree of an alarm system that is in place. I mentioned something such as this in a previous video. An alarm system in place where every parish can know that once this alarm strike, boom, we need to now start head to higher ground. And at the same time, we're having this kind of a repetitive readiness put in place for the population to be in a state of, sharpness. Dog, nyam supper. That's how I see it. This, in my view, in terms of the occurrence of this event on February 8th, is a great indicator of our lack of readiness.